You know, that if we can't really go anywhere very well without our breath, and we all know this, right? But somehow we kind of forget along the way. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that, you know, in the middle of your yoga practice, you realize you've been holding your breath, or wait a minute, I haven't focused on my breath for the last few minutes, or whatever, or suddenly you feel like your breath is tight or high, or whatever your patterns are that tend to kind of not be healthy breathing patterns. I think this can also be something that you can work with as a little string around your finger. The cool thing about the breath is that you take it, talk about convenience, you take it everywhere you go. Like if you're at home, your breath is there. If you're out, your breath is there. If you're hiking a mountain, your breath is there. It doesn't matter. So it's our greatest tool. And we often kind of just give a little bit of service to it and then let it go on its way. So let your focus today in your practice to be one of constancy around the in-breath and the out-breath. And so let's close our eyes for a moment and think about a mantra that you'd like to put on your breath. And it could change throughout your practice. It doesn't have to be the same for moment by moment. But for now, let's think about either a word or a phrase or a vision or a sensation or a person or whatever you want to visualize as you breathe in. And then the same, maybe the same, or maybe a different word or phrase or whatever on the out breath. So make it very personal to what you're working with right now. Something that can support, and remember, the energy of the inhale is often one of inspiration and what you're wanting to take in, and the energy of the exhale is what you're learning to let go. So if that helps you kind of decide what words that you're thinking of, that's great. And whatever it is, if it's a word or a vision, stretch it out. You don't have to like slow-mo speak inside your head, but stretch the energy of what you're thinking about out. So that can also help stretch your breath a little bit longer. We're not going to do any weird pranayama. Pranayama is not weird. I didn't mean to say that. We're not going to do any complicated breathing patterns. We're just going to stay very, very simple. I'm glad that's happening right. Oh, that's not me. That's somebody else. Let me make sure I muted you guys. So let's not do anything complicated with the breath, but let's rather just stay with the steadiness of our mantra, paying attention to the way our inhales and our exhales feel in our body. So enjoy your breath. Let it bring you into the present. So close your eyes and take a moment to just start feeling your breath. And perhaps you want to be lying down. You don't have to be sitting up in the beginning of your practice. You know we're going to lie down. We always do. So if you want to start that way, that's fine as well. So just take a moment to settle the bones, whatever position you're comfortable, make sure you're comfortable in. And just feel the sense of spaciousness that your breath brings. And as always, we want to stretch our breath out, but we also don't want to top the tank like your gas tank. You don't want to kind of get it to the even number. You just want to let the breath go where it goes. Okay, so your job is to invite space for breathing, to not pull or push or prod the breath in and out. And see if you can pay very close attention the whole way through. How the breath feels as you initiate the inhale. Where do you feel the breath? How is it sensing? How is it feeling? The pause in between the inhale and the exhale. And the full exhale as it comes out. Pay attention to the edges of your breath, you know, the completion of the inhale and exhale, the pause in between, the initiation of the opposite side of the breath, whether it's the inhale or the exhale. And notice if by you paying attention and slowing the breath down a little bit, if you are starting to feel short of breath at all. And if that happens to you, Shorten up the breath. Don't stretch it so far. Take out the feeling of it being a chore to breathe or even a chore to watch the breath, but instead rest in the breath and see what it feels like to just enjoy, like you would sit and listen to a song without distraction. Can you sit and listen to your breath without distraction? And it's beautiful because you can hear it, you can feel it. Imagine the millions of tiny sparks of oxygen that is feeding every cell in your body. The deep practicality of your breath keeping you alive. And then the profound energetics of the breath that are way beyond just here cell, have some oxygen, but our connection with all beings, our connection with the flow of energy, prana, the feeling of being alive, not just keeping ourselves alive. Do you feel the breath in the back of your body? How's your diaphragm? And if you notice that you get tripped up a little bit, if your neck or shoulders want to do the breath, or if you're tight or shallow somewhere, just bring your attention as you practice today to try to widen and broaden your diaphragm to try to create space for your breath. Let's bring our palms together at our heart. See if you can feel this energy of samastitihi, this equal balance posture of having our palms against each other, having the midline of our body be in our focus. Notice the balance. Notice the imbalance. Offer an intention. What can you give on the breath today? What can be cultivated within you by good breathing? What can be offered? And then release the hands. And let's come onto our back when you're ready. So let's go ahead and lie down. Stretch your legs for a moment, and then don't stretch your arms overhead just yet. Just wobble your legs left and right, in and out. They can go in the same direction or in ins outs, but just see if you can get it all the way to your femur bones. Shake your knees. Just let things be loose in your legs. Okay. And now let's add the arms to the stretching. Reach your arms overhead. Stretch the right side, stretch the left side, and just see what it feels like to open the side rims of the body. Breathe deeply. Extend through the spine, extend through the heart space, extend through the ribs. And then bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a little hug. Rock around a little bit. See what it feels like to sway from side to side. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. All right, and then let's circle. Circle knees one direction. And if you always start the same direction, maybe start the other direction if you haven't already started. Okay, feeling your sacrum. Feeling your hips go the other way when you're ready. Just very loose, very gentle, very easy in the body. And then pull your knees in. Let's bring the knees away from each other and back in. And swinging out and swinging in. Find the movement that feels really good in your body. All right, and then right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. Wiggle out your toes. So welcome sensation in your feet. One of the great
what I love about warming up on my back is that, first of all, I'm relaxed, right? But it gives time to befriend each part of the body, and especially places that might have been sleepy for the last little bit, if you've been sitting or just occupying your brain and not your body. Switch sides, left knee into the chest and stretch your right leg out and do some more wiggles through your feet, through your ankles. Wake up. I always feel like my feet are like little water telescopes looking around. All right, and then go ahead and stretch arms and legs wide on the floor. Feel that sense of radiating from your center to your tips. Stretch your fingers, and then bring your knees into your chest. Pick up your head and curl and let the back open. And a couple more times. Find the breath. Find the inhale opening you. Find the exhale. What is your mantra? One more time. Bring yourself into the quality of your breath. Exhale. Knees in. And then let's relax. Roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so starting some cat-cows. See what it feels like to breathe your way into your spine. So do you want to have a big full movement of your spine, or would you rather move one little vertebrae at a time through your spine? So notice that there's places, little pockets that need some attention and care in your body. And then feel free to move this around. Just don't forget to breathe. So you can do anything you want. You can move your hips around, your shoulders around, your neck around, anything that feels good. But just see what you can do to maintain good breathing while you're moving. All right, and then go ahead and stretch back into child's pose. Feel the back body breathe. See if you can notice where the ribs are going, and take your arms in any position that feels right. If you want to have them down, if your shoulders bother you, bring them down. Feel the back body. If your knees don't flex so well, just scoot forward a little bit and have your upper body resting on the floor. So whatever is easy in your body, find the breath. Let's open up the sides of us. Walk the hands left. Feel the right rim open up. So start with the outer rim. Maybe you feel it in your shoulder and your armpit and your rib cage. Enjoy the breath touching into the outer rim of the body. And then see if you can feel it on the inside too, where you're feeling the closer to your spine broaden. So the little side windows of your vertebrae opening. And then come back to center and inch over the other way. So the left arm stretches, the hips settle down toward the heels wherever you're comfortable. Find the deep breath on the outside rim. See if you can feel it all the way through the rib cage, maybe even beyond the ribs, maybe in your arm, maybe in your hip. And then find that little side window in the left vertebrae. Can you shine some light out those side windows? And then come back to center. Come back up onto all fours and see if you can swish your spine like a fish. So you're kind of going side to side, and just let those vertebrae open up. You can feel them compress on one side and open up on the other side. All right, let's find our twist. Inhale, lift your arm up to the sky. Exhale, slide that shoulder down. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Feeling your breath come in and out. And then go ahead and reach that arm all the way up to the sky again. Place the hand down onto the ground. Second side, arm up, arm through. Feel that space between the rib cage and the spine. See if you can find those little joints and open things up.
All right, and then inhale, reach the arm to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground. Curl your toes under and find the length of your body. Okay, so dog pose is such a great, big, huge, full body posture. So let's enjoy it. Pedal your feet, move your hips, bounce, sway. If your shoulders are bothering you, you can take a little break. You can also come up and do this half dog on the wall or on a piece of furniture. Enjoy the inversion. So feel that your head is dropped. Feel that your heart is above your head. See what it feels like to open the breath here. So the exhales can start to come in. I'm not sure what keeps dinging on my computer, so I am apologizing for it, whatever it is. I don't know. Find your breath. And then as you're ready, let's walk our feet forward, come into Uttanasana and fold in half. Bobble your head around, relax your shoulders, maybe swivel and sway and move, anything that feels good to you. Inhale for a halfway lift. Stretch your spine a little bit longer. The thigh bones move back, the shin bones move forward. Open the breath up. Exhale and melt back down. Remember your mantra. Take a deep inhale, open your spine, open your ribs. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees and relax your breath out. Push off your feet, rise up. Take a deep breath in. Maybe you want to lean back a little bit. Maybe you don't. Maybe your arms want to come at your sides. Maybe you want to be up. Maybe you want to be cactus. So find what feels good. Open the breath. And then as you're ready, place your hands at your heart for this Samastitihi again. Feel the roots of your feet. Have a moment of yielding. Soften the knees. Bring your breath low in the diaphragm. See if you can drop down the levels of the diaphragm. So the actual diaphragm, then to the pelvic floor, then the knees, then the bottom of the feet. See if you can let the breath land all the way down to the very bottom of your feet. And if we're trying to stay present moment by moment, the body and breath are our tools. They are our tools that bring us into the present. Our bodies are living in the present. Of course, we hold a lot of storage for the past, but we're here. We're right now. Feel yourself here and now. Feel your feet. Take a deep breath in. Reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees. All your air out. Find your mantra. Halfway lift. Breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Step your left foot back, right foot comes forward, finding your lunge. Let's find movement, flow on breath. Arms are supported by blocks or the floor if you don't have blocks. Let's start moving and breathing. So don't worry about how far into the posture you go. It doesn't really matter. Just keep finding yourself flowing with the breath, straightening and bending that front knee as best as you can. Finding what's available to you and opening not only the breath, but the body too. So the hip flexors, the hamstrings. Is your exhale coming all the way out? Is your inhale coming all the way in? Can you feel that flowing with breath is a really nice thing? It doesn't have to be, we don't do a whole lot of deep vinyasa flow where we're moving one breath, one movement. But doesn't it feel nice sometimes to move one breath, one movement? Okay, walk your foot back in. Inhale for a halfway lift. All your air out. What's your mantra? Step your other foot back. Left foot is forward, right foot is back. Finding a lunge. Enjoying the groundedness here. And then start to move with the breath. So straightening the legs and bending the front knee back and forth. Try to stay within your range of motion that's healthy and safe for your hips, your back, your sacrum. But allow yourself to move with your breath. Walk your back foot forward one more time. Inhale, long spine. Now let's stay here. If you have your hands on blocks, that's nice. So if you have blocks, put them there. Otherwise, put your hands on your thighs, high up on your thighs. Bend your knees a little bit. Feel the length of the spine. Elongate. Femur bones back, crown forward. And with all the space in the spine, take a deep, full breath and then allow the rib cage to expand. Look how much room you have. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees. Push off these feet. Rise up. Reaching the arms to the sky. If you're ever dizzy, you know what to do. Squeeze, squeeze your legs and arms. Tuck your chin. Okay, let's pause here for a moment. Reach the arms up. We're going to grab onto the left wrist with the right hand and come up and over. So finding the side of your body. Try not to scrunch through the other side. So we're evening things out just a little bit. Of course, this side will have more stretch, but we don't want to have a deep crunch on one side. Inner spiral of the thighs. Feel the roots of the feet. Yield. Find your breath. And then come back up. Change sides. And, you know, I know there's a few of you in here who have some shoulder challenges with arms up overhead. You can do this without an arm just by stretching. So there's always ways to modify everything. Inner spiral of the thighs. Find your breathing. And then come back up. Open the heart. Take a deep breath. And then release the hands all the way down. Interlace your hands behind your back. Grab onto the right wrist with the left hand. Feel the spine grow up. And then we're going to dip our ear over as we lift the ear up. So just find a little stretch across the traps, the tops of the shoulders, the scalenes. Feel free to move your chin around a little bit. Finding what feels right here. Heads of the arm bones gently back. Collarbones are broad. Then come back to center and find the other side. So a lot of times these little muscles in our neck take a lot of burden for our breathing when they don't have to. So bring the volume of the breath down. See if you can make the primary mover be the diaphragm instead of all these smaller muscles up in our neck and shoulders. Okay, come back to center, shrug, deep breath, relax them down. Inhale, arms big and wide, big circle outward, bend forward, fold in half. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and release, melt back down. Step your left foot back, right foot comes forward. Come into a lunge, find your breath. When you're inhaling, rise up. Put your arms where you want them to be. Maybe they're up high, maybe they're out. Anywhere along the plane is fine. So you find what's healthy and happy for your shoulders. Find the core strength. See if you can stabilize without losing your capacity for deep, full breaths. All right, bringing your arms up if you're able. And we're going to have another stretch here. So open up through the side rim of the body. Feeling the rib cage, but also the hip flexor. Open up a little bit. Stay in your lunge. Try not to smush the other side. You don't want that right side of the ribs and the right low back to get too smushed. And then come back up. Wide and maybe lean back if it's safe for your body. Be careful, protect your low back. And then release your hands down. Take your back knee onto the floor. Take your hands to the inside edge of your right knee and stretch your heart forward. And feel free to have just a little bit of movement here, and you're going to decide whether you want to keep that back knee on the floor or lift it up in the air. Find the breath. Shoulder blades are away from the ears. Feel the extension through the back leg. Widen the sit bones. Keep coming home to the breath. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and bring our back foot forward, come into our nice wide squat. You can lift your hips up and then drop them down bilaterally so you have a sense of evenness. Open your chest, feel the heart, spread open the bones of the feet. Find your breath here. As we start to work a little harder, can you still feel the depth of your breath going down to the bottom ribs, the diaphragm, keeping the neck and shoulders a little quieter? Find your mantra. How's your exhales? Can you slow them down at all? All right, and then place the hands down, lift the hips up, Heel toe your feet back in. Step your right foot back, left foot comes forward. Come to a lunge. Take your time. If you need some support, you can always take props around you, like furniture, to help you. Feel the heart grow, open the chest. Deep breath in and away. Finding a sense of wherever you want your arms to be. Stabilizing through the core of the body. Deep breaths. And then as you're ready, we're going to find that side stretch here. Once again, try not to get all scrunchy. See if you can open yourself up. And you can keep a hand on your hip. You don't have to have two hands in the air. Hug to the midline with your legs so you're not losing your stability. Deep breaths in, long breaths out. Find your mantra. What can you yield here? What can you soften? And then come back up. Maybe you want to lean back. Maybe you don't. And then release your hands down. Put your back knee on the floor. Arms on the inside edge. Go ahead and move things around. Just kind of get used to your hip being in some deep flexion. And then you decide whether you want to keep the back knee on the floor or lift the back knee up off the ground. Shoulders are away from the ears. Feel the breath. Can you still broaden out your rib cage even though you're working deeply in the hips? Is there room for the low ribs to expand and contract? All right, let's go ahead and place your back knee onto the ground. Take your other knee back. Find a little round of the cat-cow. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and come onto the floor. Rest on your belly. Okay, let's find our way into a cobra pose. So it doesn't have to be huge. Just opening up the body in this way. All right, now rest down for a moment. Roll your shoulders up toward the ears, up toward the sky and down. Start to feel the shoulder blades move on the back. See if you can stabilize them on the back. Find your breath. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, lift your hands up off the floor and then take a deep breath in. Lift a little higher. Exhale, hug your shoulders in. Sorry, not your shoulders, your elbows. Hug your elbows toward your rib cage. Inhale, let the elbows move away a little bit. Exhale, move them in. There's a lot of little muscles. Go ahead and relax, come down. At the bottom sides of your rib cage, if you can see me, kind of around here, there's some muscles in there. We talk about a lot of up near your rhomboids, but there's some muscles down here that need to contract for your rib cage to expand. So let's go ahead and find some movement in that area of the body. Take a deep breath in. Come on up, no hands off the floor. Can you feel any muscles along there that really help control not just lifting your body up, but lifting your ribs out? What do you feel in there when you breathe in? And then release and relax. Come back up onto all fours. That's a lot of movement for the muscles in your back, so swirl things around. Feel free to do a little side to side or any movement that feels really nice in the body. Deep breaths. Find your way to dog pose. Stretch and open the spine. Feel the side bodies broaden. All right. Walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Wag your tail around. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Find your breath. Find your mantra. Take a giant breath in. Take a giant breath out. Palms at your heart. Pause here. Yield here. Drop into the low diaphragm. Drop the diaphragm like, layers, like an elevator that just goes down, down, down. Drop it into the bottom of your feet. Yield into the earth. Feel your breath. There's such a deep presence to be found when we soften and breathe and loosen our joints and bring our breath down into our feet. Presence is here. See if you can find a little bit of that, the here and now, the breath that's here and now, What's your mantra? And then we're going to step our feet wide on your mat. Okay, find your breath. And just to activate the sides of our body a little bit, take your hands behind your head, like old school sit-ups. And if you don't like this for your shoulders, put your hands here. There's no reason why you have to have them up. Take a breath and shorten up your stance just a little bit, not super wide just yet. We're going to do that in a moment. Find your breath, tip one side. Find your breath. Exhale on the way down. Inhale on the way up. And don't let yourself go super deep. You know, we don't have to have this like crazy deep movement to really feel the stability that comes from our obliques. So, you know, our obliques twist us, but they also laterally bend us. So let's wake them up a little bit to help us open the side rims of the body. Now we're going to change our arms as we move. Inhale, stretch one arm up. Feel the side body lengthen. And then come back to center and find the other side. Okay, now take your legs wider like our typical classic stance. Parsvakonasana. Bring your elbow onto your knee. Open the chest. Feel the spine grow. Before you bring your arm anywhere, find your yielding. Soften your back knee. Give into the earth. Rebound from the earth. Feel the crown and the tail and the back heel find their elongation, their line. And when you're ready, bring the arm into that space. See if you can open up the whole side of the body and then drop a little bit. Drop these top ribs, your left ribs, into the right ribs just a little bit. Move the shoulders away from the ear. So we want to avoid being on an angle like this. We want to find the straight spine, the evenness across our rib cage as best as we can. Deep inhale into the low rib cage. Find your mantra. Steady exhales. Yielding into your feet. Are using all the muscles that you can so that you don't have to overburden some. And bring your arm down. Shoot the crown and tail. Move the shoulders away from the ears and find your way up. Reverse a triangle pose. Reach that arm to the sky. Be careful to not turn this into a back bend. Stay in the side bend and then bend your knee again and reach up into a reverse warrior. And it doesn't matter how low in your lunge you go. Try not to compress the lumbar spine, especially don't push this head forward, which will compress the lumbar spine on that left side even more. Take the thigh bone back, give some space, find your yielding, find your feet. And then we're going to come back to, you can always take a straight leg for a moment. We're going to come back into Parsvakonasana. Find your breath, long side body. Okay, come on up, straighten your leg. 2 arms out, 2 hands on your hips, wherever you want to go. Deep breaths, evenness through the rib cage. Let's find warrior 2 and see if you can concentrate on letting the ribs find all the expansion that they need. You can have your arms anywhere you want them to be. There's so many choices to be had. Are you yielding? Is your breath full and steady? All right, let's go ahead and straighten the legs. Bring your arms down, turn your feet straight. Now we're going to do a similar side bend, but instead of having our arms up or our arms up, we're going to keep our hands down. So slide, and this I think is a good way to practice because it gets you a sense of whether you tend to tip back or tip forward in this pose. See what you can do to stay on the plane of your legs. So tipping, coming back, tipping. Inhale up, exhale over. Find your breath, find your mantra, find your side core. Can't remember which side we started on. So let's end over here. And then come back up. Turn your feet Parsvakonasana on this side. So bend your knees, shoulders are away from your ears. Before you find your arm, find your spine. Reach your crown and tail. Feel the elongation of your rib cage instead of a hunched overness of your rib cage. Allow that femur bone to root deep into the pelvis. When you're ready, stretch the arm over. Notice if you hunch the shoulders, keep the shoulder blades down the back. Notice the rib cage. Try to integrate into the center line and then stretch that center line. Crown, tail, back, heel. Find your deep breaths. Find your yielding feet. Find your mantra. Maybe your mantra is starting to change. Maybe it's the same. Can you breathe through both sides of your rib cage? All right, great. And then we're going to come on out of there. Straighten your leg. Reverse your triangle pose. Open things up. Try not to turn it into a back bend. Stay side bending. Deep breaths. And then we're going to stay here. Bend your knee and find the side bend in your two legs. So your two legs can be up here. You do not have to be in a deep lunge. You could be much higher. That might give you more capacity to open the rib cage up. Just see where you are. Okay, and then a little bit of thigh break and then come back down, Parsvakonasana again. And you can start just with the crown, tail, heel, the shoulder and the arm if you want. Find your breath. Both sides of your rib cage expanding. Let these ribs drop a little bit so that we're not overarching. Okay, and then come on up. Find your arms wherever you want them to be for Virabhadrasana 2. And when you come into this posture, find the evenness through the ribs. So let both sides of your rib cage expand. Try not to tip one way or the other. Stay stable, crown over pelvis. And that might mean backing away from the depth of your lunge a little bit. Just find what works for your body. Arms go where you want them to be. Find your breath. Full rib cage expansion, full exhales. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and find our way out. Turn your feet straight one more time, but this time we're coming forward. So thigh bones back, stretch your arms, lengthen the spine. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away here. Open up the rib cage. Find the side bodies. Enjoy the length of your side bodies. So knees are soft, thigh bones back. Let the pelvis moving back help you find space between the ribs and the hips. All right, and then we're going to walk our feet and hands back to dog pose. Find the length of your spine here. Find the expansion, big breath in, big breath out. Are you enjoying your breath? Can you melt your face? Come forward into a plank. I don't think we've done a plank yet. Go ahead and enjoy your plank. Find the deep stabilization through your body. Find the midline. Can you still breathe broadly? Can you stretch your ribs away from the midline and bring them back in? Put your knees down onto the ground. Slowly lower yourself to the floor. Same back bend as before. Take your hands off the floor. Maybe your legs lift up too this time. Feel those muscles in the backside of your ribs. And then release and relax. Come, let's windshield wiper our knees, actually. Turn your head and just rock left and right. Finding your breathing. All right, now let's go ahead and come back, and we're going to come onto our side. So lie on your right side.
Okay, most of you have done this with me before. You can have a little pillow with your arm, or perhaps you need a blanket. Knees are bent. They do not have to be all the way to your hips, but they can, just find a comfortable place for you to be. Find your breath. Bring your hand over top of your head. Put your fingers on top of your head. Take a deep breath in, and we're going to lift our feet and our chest up. Exhale. Inhale, see what you like. I like to exhale on my way up and inhale on my way down. Maybe that doesn't feel intuitive to you. Find what works for your body. Doing a little work for the quadratus lumborum, the deep low back muscle, getting some of your side body to work for the posture. Feel your breath. Sometimes when I exhale and have this, compression inside of my body and then inhale to open it, it feels like a little billows, like those, the fire thing that you billow to make the fire go. I hope you know what I'm talking about. I don't know what those things are called. But I feel like that in my lungs sometimes when I do this pose. So see if that works for you. One more time. And then let's go ahead and lie on our back. Feel the difference between your two sides. So you should feel like you worked one side of your low back and ribs, and maybe the other doesn't feel quite the same. Let's try to even it out. So we're now going on to our left. Okay, so let's go ahead and find our posture. Knees go where you want them to be. Support your head. Take your hand over your head. You don't have to take your hand over your head. It's just a way for you to access a little bit of the rib cage. So you decide what feels best for your body. We're lifting our feet and our shoulders. So we are not lifting our knees up. We're keeping our knees down. It's the feet and chest that lifts up. So try the exhale on the lift. Try the inhale on the drop. See if that works for you. If you have a different opinion, then that's awesome. Just see what works for your body. Feet stay together. Feel that billows, squeezing all the breath out. Not just the breath, but squeezing the musculature, all this energy of compression and expansion, teaching the lungs and the ribs that this movement is necessary and possible for a healthy breathing. Maybe one more. And then let's roll onto our back and spread your arms and legs wide on the floor. And just take a moment to balance the back body. Feel your breath enter deeply. Feel your breath exit deeply. Coming into your mantra one more time. And then let's bring our knees into our chest and rock a little bit. Finding some deep inhales, finding some exhales. Just stay constant, focusing on the breath, no matter what your body is doing. Roll over onto your side and come on up onto all fours. Let's stretch that QL now a little bit. So first, let's find a bird dog, because why not? It's always good to do this pose. Stretch your left leg straight back behind you and your right arm out in front of you. And let's find the billows here. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, knee and elbow coming in. Inhale, spreading out. Exhale, knee and elbow. If you want to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, out through your nose, see what feels good. Let's do one more. Reach that arm and leg out. Place your hand and knee down onto the ground. And now we'll stretch the QL. So stretch that left foot back behind you. Curl your toe under. Cross the leg over to the right side of your mat. And then turn and look out over that foot. Feel the compression through the right side as you open up the left side.
And then come back to center and find child's pose. Take your hips back toward the heels. Feel free to move around a little bit. If you want your knees close or your knees far. And then we're going to come back up onto all fours. Remember, there's always choices. You can take fists or you can take hands on blocks. And we're going to take our right leg straight back behind us, our left arm out in front of us. Make a modification for hips, for shoulders, whatever you need. Take deep breaths here. And if you can't ever be on your knee, you can do this pose standing up with furniture. Wait, I have the wrong, no, I did it right. You can have it like this, where you're coming in, okay? Actually, like this. All right, so you find you. Start moving the body. So we're bringing the elbow and the knee toward each other. As we exhale, bringing it back out. Bringing it back in. Find the breath. My breath is different than your breath pace-wise, so don't follow me, follow you. And when you're ready, when your next one finishes, let's go ahead and stretch that arm and leg out. Place the hand and knee down onto the ground. Move around, swivel, let your back rest, and then take your foot back. So your right foot is curled under. Cross it over to the left side of the mat, square your shoulders and hips to the floor, and turn and look out over that foot. Stretch open the rib cage on this side. Mostly you're going to feel this, hopefully, in your quadratus lumborum, the deep low back muscle. Just find some space there. Okay, and then come back to center. Come back to child's pose. Settle the spine, rest, and breathe. Rock a little bit if it feels nice to do so. Let's find pigeon pose with your right leg coming forward first. Feel free to come into reverse pigeon pose. Feel free to have support. So lots of props are available. Well, I have no idea if lots of props are available to you. I hope that you have some blankets and blocks and such. So find whatever it is that you need to support yourself in this pose and find your way down. So if you're in reverse pigeon pose, remember you can always put your foot against a wall and help you keep your elongated spine intact instead of grabbing behind your thigh or shin. But you do you. So whatever feels nice in the body. See, especially if you're in pigeon pose and your back body's not on the floor, see if you can stay with a steady breath here. Expanding the rib cage. Feeling those back ribs open up. Having your head supported, it can be very helpful. So either your head's on the ground if you're in reverse, or put your head on your hands or on some props if you're in pigeon pose. Tell your nervous system all is well by supporting your head. Tell your nervous system all is well by elongating the exhales. So if you're having some moments of not feeling like all is well throughout the day, these are simple things to try to help not only yield you, ground you, bring you into the moment, but the long, steady exhales and supporting your forehead are definite little teeny ways that you can help your nervous system stay in a steady state. The breath is by far your greatest gift. And it's totally portable. It goes everywhere with you. Let's go ahead and come out of the pose and change sides. So maybe you want to do reverse pigeon on one side and pigeon on the other. Maybe you need less or more support on one side or the other. So you find the breath, find your way into the pose. If you have something to support your head with, either by lying on the floor and supporting the back of your head, or putting a prop underneath your forehead. And if you can't get down this far or you don't have a block, you can take your elbows and just rest your head in your forehead in your palms. There's just some little soothing trick about having your forehead resting that is it's a cue to the nervous system that all is well. So give yourself cues throughout the day. What can you do? The exhales are such a beautiful way. Yielding, finding the earth below you is such a beautiful way to take a simple 5-second moment and allow yourself to be present and stable. So the little tiny things, whatever you're developing, doesn't have to be that, but whatever you're developing to counteract some of the constant mind stress of the uncertainty of our times. So develop whatever little tools you have. These are just a couple of examples. There's many, many things that you can develop to help you along the way. Long exhales. Feel the back rib cage breathe. All right, let's go ahead and come out of there. Come onto your back. Okay, let's take a simple knees to chest. Circle a little bit. Just feel the ease come back into the pelvis. Stay with the breath. And let's put our feet down, lift our hips up, scooch them right, knees up, drop them left. Stay with the breath. Pick up your knees, neutralize your spine, breathing deeply. And then let's scooch the other way. And then let's go ahead and come on up and find your way into any variation of Shavasana that is your favorite way to be. So, take your time to find what that means. Do you need props? Do you need furniture? Do you need a wide expanse on the floor? And as you find your easiest place to be and settle into the whole body yielding now. Can you really feel that? Can you breathe your way into yielding into the earth? Scan and notice if there's places that are holding tension that you can let go. Maybe that out-breath mantra can help. Is there tension through your face that you can surrender? Are you staying with the easy breath, soft belly? Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. Enjoy yourself yielding one more time into the earth. And as you're ready, bring your knees to your chest, rock around a little bit, maybe happy baby pose, maybe just knees. Just find some curling in. Any kind of movement that helps you. Still finding those deep, steady breaths. And find your way onto your side as you're ready. And come up to sit when the time is right. So take your time. And as you're ready, let's bring our palms together to our heart. When you get there, there's no rush. Take a moment to settle into the breath again, bringing the palms together, finding that sense of equal balance, presence, steadiness. Feel your ground. Feel your breath. And offer this energy outward. Share your openness, your heart. Whatever steadiness your breath has given you through your practice, share it. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.